Shalom Aleichem, good morning. I'm Rabbi Arthur Waskow. I'm director of the Shalom Center. The website of the Shalom Center is the THG Shalom SHALOM Center.org. The Shalom Center.org. And I'm commenting today on the Torah portion that's called Vayishlach. It's chapters 32 and 33 of Genesis. And it contains the famous story of the Godwrestle, which includes the wrestle that Jacob, Yaakov, whose name means he's a sneaky heel, the same double meaning in Hebrew as it has in English, heel of your shoe or the heel of your foot, and being a heel in life. So he wrestles with his brother to steal the birthright. And in this story, he's about to go back home after decades away with a retinue of wives, children, workers, sheep, goats. And he's on his way when he hears that his brother Esau, whose birthright he stole by lying, is about on his way to meet Jacob with 400 men, maybe armed. So he sends his entire retinue ahead of him across the river with gifts for Esau, and he stays alone for a momentous night. He stays alone, and yet the story says he wrestles with men and with God. In this wrestle, he is wounded so that he spends the rest of his life limping. He demands to know the name of the being with whom he is wrestling, and the being turns away the question and instead changes Jacob's name from Jacob, sneaky heel, to Godwrestler. And the next morning, after he meets his brother, and his brother embraces him and kisses him, they both weep. The story raises at least two deep questions and gives several hints toward answers. The first question is, what does it mean to wrestle God? And the second question is, how is it that wrestling God changes the relationship between the two brothers so that they're able to reconcile with each other? So I wanted to suggest that there are a few hints in the story. First of all, the river where he stays alone, alone, is the Yavok. His name is Yaakov. The river is Yavok. It's his own name inside out. And the first word that's used for his wrestling with the being is Yavok, Yavek, which is, again, a wounded version of his own name. So he learns that his own name has many faces and he has to learn them. And another hint, when Jacob sends gifts to Esau before the God wrestling. He says to himself, this is in Genesis 32, verse 21, the Everett Fox translation, which is by far the best one in English of the Hebrew Bible. I will wipe the anger from his face with the gift that goes ahead of my face. Afterward, when I see his face, perhaps he will lift up my face. In a single verse, 4 times the word face. That's amazing. And after the God wrestle, after he has asked the name of his wrestling partner and been turned away, after he has named the place where it all happens, God's face, Pnei El, after he and Esau have embraced, he says to his brother, I have, after all, seen your face and sees the face of God. Oh. So he seems to have discovered at least one of the names of and the faces of the being whom he has been wrestling with. And where he began when he sent the gifts, wanting Esau to see his face, Jacob ends by realizing that it's crucial for him to see Esau's face. So I ask again, what does it mean to wrestle God? And why did it matter so much that the two brothers who had been enemies, why were they able then to become beloved brothers? So I'll tell you my own thoughts about this. But first, let me suggest that you pause the video here and let your own answer come to you. When you feel ready, come back to me. Then let us together wrestle God. I'll just wait and you just let yourself open to yourself. Okay, so I'm assuming that you've spent some time with yourself, your own face, your own name, and that you're ready to come back to me. So what I think is this, that what Jacob did was that he said aloud with his whole body, his whole mind, his whole heart, his whole soul. He said to God, to the world, why is the world this way? Why am I stuck in a world you made? I know what my mother taught me, and I know who I aim to be. Why is the world so built that to become who I needed to become, I needed to lie, to rob, to steal, to make my way there? Is there no other way? There must be other way. And he's challenging the world as it was the world as God had made it. God, who had made the world, wrestling with God, made it possible to open up a world as it could be, a world in which he and his brother could embrace. And you, what's your answer to what is truly a God wrestle? Write me. Write me at Waskow at theshalomcenter.org. Be well. Sei gesund and shalom.